Essa Mbaye Faal, the party leader of Alliance People Party Sobeya, in collaboration with the opposition parties GDC, NUP, PAP, organized a press conference regarding the unwarranted arrest of peaceful protesters on Tuesday, 8 May 2025. At the press conference, the disposal of former President Jammeh's assets were discussed. The opposition parties further demand from the government the immediate release of the citizens that were detained without a condition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, the Director of Communications for APP Sobeya. I am going to read out a statement not of Essa Mbaye Faal, not of APP Sobeya, but a joint statement of 4 political parties here present. They include APP Sobeya, Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC, National Unity Party, NUP, and People's Alliance Party, PAP. Their representatives are here present, sitting on the high chair. There is no hierarchy here. We are all equal political parties sitting on the platform to discuss an issue of national concern. Allow me also to recognize the presence of others. I recognize the presence of Usman Diallo, who's leading a movement that could be registered as a political party. There is also the coalition of concerned Gambians, I believe, that is also interested in what is happening here today, because of time. And with that introduction, allow me to read out this statement. We, the undersigned leadership of the below-mentioned opposition political parties in the Gambia, we stand united in solemn solidarity with the courageous youths of our nation. Our collective voice, representing the diverse political landscape of our country, is raised in unison to condemn in the strongest terms the unwarranted arrest of peaceful protesters and to demand their immediate and unconditional release. We further urge the government of the Gambia to uphold the fundamental democratic principles enshrined in our Constitution and to respect the inalienable rights of our people. The recent revelations regarding the disposal of assets belonging to the former president, as highlighted in the Republic's news article, have shaken the nation's conscience. These assets, integral to the nation's wealth, were disposed of without public knowledge or consent, raising urgent questions about government transparency and accountability. The public's demand for the release of the government paper detailing the nature, sale, and beneficiaries of these assets is a rightful assertion of sovereignty over governance. The youth, in their patriotic fervor, attempted to exercise the constitutional right to peaceful assembly by applying for a police permit to protest lawfully. The government's denial of this permit and the arrest of these young citizens represent a significant affront to our democratic ideals. Section 25(1)(d) of the 1997 Constitution of the Gambia guarantees every citizen the right to freedom of assembly and association, a fundamental pillar of our democracy. As the opposition, we are the custodians of the aspirations of Gambians who yearn for a just and transparent society. The youths who protested are not agitators, but embodiments of hope for a Gambia that respects the will of the people. Their detention is unjust, or it's an injustice, and we will not stand idly by while their rights are violated. And we demand the following: immediate release of all arrested youths whose only offense was demanding accountability, to respect the constitutional rights, including the right to peaceful protest and freedom of expression, transparency regarding the assets of the former president with detailed reports on their sale and buyers, meaningful dialogue between the government and stakeholders, including youth and civil society, to address public grievances. The path of repression leads to division and unrest. The Gambia we envision is one where every voice is heard and valued. The detained youths are patriots, reminding us of our democratic obligation. Their freedom is non-negotiable. Continuing down this path risks not only international condemnation and isolation, but also the erosion of our democratic fabric and the loss of trust in our government. To the people of the Gambia, we pledge our unwavering commitment to our struggle for justice and transparency. We urge the international community to support our democratic aspirations. The opposition will tirelessly advocate for the rights of every Gambian and demand accountability from those in power, fostering a Gambia that reflects the dreams of its people and upholds the principles of justice and transparency. That is the statement I was authorized to read, and the document was signed by the representatives of all the parties. Before I yield the floor, I just also want to recognize the presence of security officers. I see that they are busy writing notes. We would provide the full copy of our statement signed by all the parties. We are here doing what the laws of this country have allowed us to do, and we do it fearlessly. Whether security officers are present or not, we would always abide by the law, but we also recognize the fact that as Gambians in this country, we have a right to do what the law has mandated us to do, and we cannot be intimidated, we cannot be scared. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. I am Mbaye, the Admin Secretary 1 of the Gambia Democratic Congress TDC.
Salaamaaleykum, ñu ngi nuyu ñëpp di leen ziar. Man la Moustapha Sall, nekk national président bu People's Alliance Party. maa ngi sant ñëpp di gërëm ñëpp di ñaan yàlla jàmm ci réew mi.
My name is Dr. Cheba Dape, National Administrative Secretary, APP Sobeya.
Perhaps I need to say that it's a handful of parties who are present here. We have made an effort to reach out to other parties. We have not been so fortunate to reach everybody. Our wish would have been that this is a united front of all political parties. Unfortunately, because of the short timeline within which we had to organize this, it was not possible for everyone to be reached and their consent sought to get them to participate. And for all those who think that rightfully we should have consulted them and bring them on board, we sincerely apologize. But we could not pass off this opportunity to really make this statement. So I hope they would understand it in that way. But I do believe that this is a matter of national concern, and that the concerns we have are also the concerns that other political parties have, and indeed the concern of all peace-loving and law-abiding Gambians, and especially those who want to see the Gambia with a very clean human rights record. Thank you. Is it directed to me?
Yeah, anyone can answer the question.
Okay, thank you. I will take a stab at it. I will not go into the legal semantics because it involves a lot of legal gymnastics. There is the law for peaceful assembly. There is the law for use of microphones or loudspeakers or microphones in processions. These are completely different provisions and often misunderstood. But the important thing is that these are laws that we have inherited from our colonial masters through the Vagrancy Act that you would have in Eastern Africa and so forth. In West Africa through the Public Order Act, which were only intended to muffle our forefathers, keep them silent and quiet, and to ensure that they have a quick way to keep us behind bars whenever they felt that we have taken steps really to speak up about matters of concern to us. This is a colonial legacy. Interestingly enough, last week I gave a lecture at the university, the law school week, the law week at the university. And this is precisely the subject I talked about. I don't know whether it's just deja vu or whatever, but the university thought that I should talk about the evolution of the criminal law in this country and the post-TRRC aspects of things. And this was a matter that was central in the TRRC. We all remember Femi Peters in 2010 when he was arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced for organizing a political event without a permit. We remember April 10th and 11th when our brothers and sisters were gunned down in the streets. We remember when Solo Sandeng was arrested precisely for this same event that has occurred yesterday for protesting against law reform, and he was quickly bundled together with others and taken to NIA and other places. We discovered his body somewhere in Tanye, and a lot of the others were so severely tortured. A few have died since. This is not too long ago. This was 2014, just 10 years ago. It's as if we have not learned from history. The president of our country was a member of that same political party. He came to power mainly as a result of the Jammeh application of the Public Order Act on Gambian civilians. After Solo Sandeng, Hussein Dabo and others and members of the UDP went out to protest, and they were equally arrested under that same terrible colonial law and sentenced to prison. If our president is sincere in his belief that Ba Hussein and others were doing what is right for this country, if he is sincere that they were doing what is a heroic act, it is a shame that what happened yesterday has happened. We should learn from the past. We are not calling for trouble in this country. We are calling for peace. We are asking the president of this country to exercise his authority under the Constitution to ensure that this country is in peace by ensuring that the executive and the police, they take measured actions that would calm the tension in the country, measured action that would bring about reflection of the people, for the people to realize that this is a country of laws, that we can only progress if we respect each other's rights if we try to foster peace, and that is what we call for. We hope that the events of these days would inspire sober reflection from everybody, from the president downwards to all of us, such that we would do what is right for this country. We are a small country. All of us are connected together one way or the other. We should treat each other right. We should treat each other properly. There's no benefit to keeping those young people in jail for doing what they did. If we call Ba Usainu and others heroes of this country for defying dictatorship to come out and protest, we should equally hold these young people by the same standard for their heroism to go out and protest what they believe is wrong. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander.
Next.
Yeah. Shows the spirit of all the parties sitting here to come together to advocate and stand for the problems of this country. So it shows that we are willing to, when necessary, come together. And you see that we were able to read out a joint statement signed by everyone, showing clearly that we can come together and discuss issues and collectively agree on what we think is the best course of action. So I commend all parties that have participated in this, but I also do say that it's just unfortunate that we could not reach other parties, but I am sure that if we did, they would have been willing to participate in this exercise. We can always put aside our differences and focus on the things that really bind us together. So it is possible to answer your question. Thank you.
Media House. Sorry.
I honestly think that it is important that these laws are repealed. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think the TRRC recommended the repeal of these repressive laws. But that said, the most important thing now, today, is not repealing that law. The most important thing now is the actions of our president as the chief executive in this country and the commander-in-chief of our armed forces. He should show presidential leadership by taking the steps that would calm down the tension in this country. It is his responsibility to bring about the peace in this country. If he acts in a very high-handed manner, it could prove unnecessary, unwarranted heightening of the situation. But if he acts, as I hope he will, if he acts in a measured manner, if he acts humanely, if he tempers the law as they understand it, with the mercy that the situation deserves, if he looks at this as the feature of Gambians speaking on behalf of others, then I do think that the situation would change. I sit here not to cause trouble. No, I sit here to implore him to show that the buck stops with him, to show that Gambia has the kind of leadership that everyone should be proud of. A leadership that, in spite of the blue letter law, is concerned about the welfare of the people, is concerned about the peace of the country, and is ready always to show leadership and take steps that would strengthen our unity and foster peace in this country. And that's what I'm asking for. As I speak now, I understand that there are some youths around Westfield gathered demanding their rights. with these things, if they are not handled properly, if they are not handled with good leadership, they can escalate. I pray to God that that will not happen in this country. We did the TRRC, and we said, never again shall these things happen in this country. Do we wish that never again to be a statement that we do not believe in? Do we? It's like history is repeating itself. 2014 is repeating itself. We have to be mindful of what 2014 gave us. It gave us the untimely death of Solo Sandh. It gave us the unlawful arrest of Ba Usainu Dabo and others. It brought us an almost, I don't want to use that word, because it could be deliberately misinterpreted to say that Essa Faal is trying to steer discontent and all that. I know the sedition laws, so I would not use that word. But I want to say that it caused Gambians to come together and say, enough is enough. We are going to get rid of this dictatorial government. Don't underestimate Gambians. 2016 we did. 2026 is around the corner. Don't test us. You see, this is why I'm saying that this is history repeating itself in Gambia. And that is why our leadership must be careful. This is why our president must take measured, deliberate, and well thought out steps. He should think about the future of these people who have been arrested. He should think about the future of this country. Gambians fought to have a country of laws. Gambians fought to ensure that we have a country in which the rights of people are fully respected. Gambians fought to ensure that never again should we go back to the dark days where these repressive laws are used against people. And in the dawn of 2016, or the dawn of 2017, we thought that these things will not happen again. But look at things as they unfolded. We are using the same old playbook. That old playbook that gave us Solo Sandh, that old playbook that gave us the incarceration of the top UDP leadership. In my own assessment, I feel ashamed that this is happening again in our country. As lead counsel, former lead counsel of the TRRC, I am heavily invested in this because I put my life on the table to do the work of the TRRC, to lead that investigations and produce that evidence that would establish the truth about the terrible things that happen in this country. If those things are to be happening again, I think it behoves all of us to come out and express our concern and condemn what is happening. I feel sorry for the youths that you're talking about. It is important. Yes, the students you're talking about. It is important that they are allowed to go and sit their exams. But you know what happens in Gambia is they arrest you on Thursday, and because the law gives them 72 hours, unfortunately, and they keep you through Friday. And they say, well, at the expiry of the 72 hours, it's weekend, so you got to spend the night because there's no judge or magistrate to give you bail. I am saying, as a lawyer, I am saying that that is wrong application of the law. The law does not say that your detention should be extended if there is no magistrate or judge to give you bail at the expiry of this. Many police regimes, in order to break down the suspects under detention. These are terrible things that used to happen in Gambia. This is not what we bargained for in 2016, and these things must stop. I give my colleagues the opportunity to add to what I have just said, but I do want to believe that this should not happen in the new Gambia. We condemn it in the strongest terms, and I do hope that our president is listening. We are reminding him that the company that he kept in 2014, 2015, and 2016 went through hell under the same arrangements that these youth are going through now. Let him reflect. But if he is not willing to learn from those lessons, well, we leave it at that. The Gambian youth are not ready to relent. Gambians are not willing to sit idly by to take us back to those dark days. So I think prudence and smart leadership demands a different course of action. Thank you. For me, I will not call, and mark my words, do not twist it. I will not call for any unlawful or unpeaceful action, but we would use all powers within the law to ensure that we fight for the rights of everyone who's been arrested in the protest of the other day. I am a lawyer. The way I know to do things is to fight it within the framework of the law. From this meeting, I would try to put together a team of lawyers who would fight for these people. That's the way I know to fight this. But don't think that I will not be among those who would come out if it is necessary. I will always come out and defend the rights of people. But I will not advocate for a violation of the law. You see, it is in these moments that the executive listen keenly to everything that you say. They have lawyers holding the Public Order Act, waiting for you to make mistakes. You use the wrong word, grab him. He's committed this offense. You are bundled, your bones are broken before you realize you are almost half dead. It has happened in many countries. I am not saying that that is what is happening in Gambia. No, I did not. All I am saying is these are tactics that they have used around the world. I fear that those same tactics could be used in this country, and that is why I am prepared for them. And that is why I am paying keen attention to the Public Order Act. And remember, there's a new law, the cybercrime law, that has just come into place. That too is another tool that could be used against people. So for all of us here, we have to be careful. Not that we are afraid. No, I am never afraid to tell truth to power. But also, I have to protect myself. I cannot be reckless because I'm a lawyer. I cannot say I did not know this. You know? And the easiest way to take away their weapon is by making it exceptionally difficult for them to get you under the law. And that is what I'm doing now. Thank you very much. But the thing is, I think that I have answered the question you have asked with my last statement. I did say that I would always do everything possible within the framework of the law to help to vindicate the rights of people, including organizing a team of lawyers to represent people. I said also, but that is not to mean that I will never come out. In fact, I am out doing exactly what you're talking about. I don't necessarily have to hold a placard outside in the street. My friend, I am the lawyer here. I am not sure that you are one. I am saying that I will not advocate for a violation of the law. If you want to advocate for the violation of the law, I don't want that association. I want to be president of this country someday. Do you think that it makes sense that I advocate for violation of the law? It does not. And I am not that person. I am never scared or afraid. Never. It's not in my DNA to be scared or afraid. But it is important for every individual to do what is right by God and for the people that you represent. And that is what I do. I do not think that what these guys did ought to be a crime in this country. I am looking at it from the point of view of the Constitution. The Constitution gave us an unbridled right for peaceful assembly. And that is what I believe they were doing. But I also recognize that there is a Public Order Act which unfairly criminalizes this conduct. So what I need to do is to fight against this by ensuring greater public awareness, by registering my dissatisfaction or condemnation of what is happening, and taking steps that I can lawfully take in order to secure redress. That is what I will do. I will not violate the law. But that doesn't mean that I will not fight. I will fight within the ambit of the law. I hope that satisfies you.
So tolu len fu nga xamne ñun ñep li ñoo advocate is one. Li ñoo advocate moy fu ci tek na ne right now suñu attention yépp ci li ko wara direct moy naka la ñoo try opposition ci despite their differences ñom ñep ñu wara mëna ñu together ñu am one common candidate bu nga xamne mom la ñoo face because lu ma lay wax moy the most guaranteed thing moy pour ñu ñep ñoo together pour géré fi système bu fi am because we don't have problem with power but we have problem with the system. So meaning that for Nigeria for the president, we want to see a more responsible system. Currently, what is happening, all opposition parties, they are not happy with the current situation. So party leaders, especially, can be why he's not in town. While you never leave, is it a bit? Bugatami for youth, while you tell me the rescue, rescue this country, then you rescue in line with the law. Because you never tell you are opposition. Tomorrow we can be there. So if what we want to advocate more, you don't opposition to act in line with the law. Because they think of violate, we will lack the moral ground for you to help condemn that act. So Lolo we will see how best the new strategize. Law made as far as the constitution is concerned. Lolo around exercise. Then makes on it we will see how best we will work with the Gambian population in order to rescue this country in 2026.
Ma raxi doli rek ne waxon na fi bu yagut ne na president Barrow delo ci xelam fatel ko 2010 Femi Peters mu delo ci xelam fatel ko sax April 10 11 year 2000 li xewon ci réew mi mu delloo si xelam ba tey fàttaliku 2014 solo sànne ba tey mu delloo si xelam fàttali kim daan ooyee papaam muy Ba Ousseynou Daam ak ñoom seen jaar-jaar foog naa su bàyyee xelam ca loola war naa xam ne comme nim ñaawloo woon events yi ma describe yëpp nam leen ñaawloo woon waxtu woowa na xam ne noonu la ko war a ñaawloo tey te li xew tey ci turam rek lañ koy wax parce que moom mooy di commander in chief so bon nag nam ko ñaawloo woon ñun noonu lañ ko ñaawloo tey ba tax ñun ku ñu dénkoon réew mi ñaawteef bu mel nii ba tax ñun ñi ñëw génn si ñëw toog fii ñun ñaawteef boobu duñ ko def so moo tax tam sooy ñaawlu ñaawteef boobu defee ko ci anam boo xam ne dina am njëriñ ku fi oote loo xam ne day taal réew mi ñun ñooy ñàkk ba tax gow ma ne am na any person koo xam ne dinañ war nañ laa ooye a responsible person pour nga taal réew suñ differences mun nañ koo setul te duñ taal réew moo tax ñuy wax président bi ne ko tiituñ de ragaluñ li nga war a def ko réew mi am jaama boo ko defutam nit ñi dinañ taxaw temm laajte li leen luwaa may xam nga loolu tam ak taal réew mi dafa ute soo ñun moo tax lu ñoo oote dañ ko oote pour mu jaar ci yoon duñ ko may dërëm nag benn dalasi duñ ko ci may nit ñi seen rights dinañ ko vindicate waaye tam dañ koo defee ci anam boo xam ne na doon anam boo xam ne dina njëriñ réew mi dina njëriñ askan mi dina wone ne ñun we are civilized people dina wone ne Gambia dëkki luwaal dina tax Gambia am tur bu rafet bitim réew loolu mooy tax nit ñi am confidence pour di ñëw ci suñ dëkka jërëjëf yeneen parti si tam mun nañ cee yokk my brother if I had the keys to the jail I would have opened them okay if I had my wish no one would sleep in a jail all right so we are now telling truth to power by telling the president that this action that has been taken is not the best course of action. It's not a lawful action in view of the constitution of this country. It is also not the kind of action we expect he will take in present-day Gambia in view of the lessons of the past, in view of the TRRC recommendations, which he has signed and accepted, that this conduct is not what we expect of him. We condemn it in the strongest terms, and we ask that these people be released unconditionally and immediately. If that does not happen, we hope to see them in court on Monday. We hope to see them in court on Monday. But equally, we are not responsible for the conduct of other Gambians who are equally disturbed by what has happened. And we leave it at that.
What I'm going to say is not much. Like I said, my name is Sayyidina Abubakar Jami. My party leader would have been here today, like Jami. But unfortunately, he's not in the country. He actually traveled. Is it a piece of advice to the government? Our honorable said it here, Essa Mbaye Faal. We should not allow history or the facts of history to repeat themselves. The president ought to know better that the youthful population of this country consists of over 60% of the population. Our plight should be his concern. The only issue that compels these youth to take on the streets is to demand for justice, is to demand for accountability, is to demand for transparency. That in itself is a noble gesture. We are asking him to kindly allow these youths to go home in peace. That is exactly what we are advocating for. I will step on Essa's shoe as to what he said. We would not violate the law, but we will also consult our legal teams and then look at our options on the table. We would not let this slide. We are not afraid of anything, but we also want to do whatever we have to within the confines of the law. What they did is their right to seek for accountability, to request for transparency, because this is a generational wealth that is supposed to benefit generations, even those that are yet on board. So, knowing fully well that there is no time, we are asking for this youth, the president actually, to release these youths unconditionally and kindly not to allow this to repeat itself again.
Essa ji woote bi di sant political party yi teew yëpp Moustapha Sall la tawal fi People's Alliance Party li waral jotaay bi ñëpp xam nañ ko mooy li nga xam ne moo xew recently démb waaye Gambia dafa am loo xam ne dañ ko doon ba tey mu nekk ci xol yi ak xalaat yi ba tey génn mooy dictatorship ak léeg-léeg xol bu xat dañ ko doon ca li passé ba léeg-léeg government bu ñu at léeg-léeg ñi nga xam ne ñoo yor sécurité bu ñu at léeg-léeg da nga yëg ne wax dëgg yàlla des nañ lu bare bari ndax koo xam ne dafa jóg deful loo xam ne dañ koy tuddee commit crime nga jàpp ko yóbbu tëj lu muy laaj mu ne dama bëgg xam sama alal nan la demee fan lañ ko dugal xaaral ma yaakaar ne loolu nekkut loo xam ne crime la ci réew mi wala boog dañoo bind ci constitution bi rek képp koo xam ne yaa ngi demande justice ak transparent da nga commit crime fooguma ko te ñun ñëpp li ñu war mooy ñi jàng ci li passé li muy jëriñ mooy nga jàng ci ëllëg mistake yi passé woon lii ñëw nga fexe mooy ñun ñëpp léegi-léegi dañuy dégg yàlla dañuy wax inna fi dalika la ibra.
The question is for them to answer whether they are threatening me or not. I am not scared. I do not think that I have done anything in this country that would warrant the armed forces to think of me differently. I see them as loyal, serving men and women and officers of this country. I hold them to the highest regard, like I expect that they would hold everybody else to the highest regard. I don't want to enter into that debate. I do not think that anything meaningful has been said. All I just want to say is that all the people concerned should reflect back to the TRRC. It's like that they haven't remembered much about the TRRC. But I'll remind them to go back and listen to the testimonies of the TRRC. In particular, Edward Singate, in particular, the CDS himself, his own testimony at TRRC, and also the testimony of Sana Sabali. I did not say what I said because I just wanted to say things. No, I said what I said because those were the right things to say. I said what I said because this is the only country we have, and we have to do everything in the interest of our country. And that was the reason why I said what I said. I will not enter into a debate in the response. And some institutions, they like to play politics. I wasn't playing politics. I was playing good citizen. So, and that's why I said what I had to say. This is not the first time I am saying this. I have said it for years. Remember, it has taken 9 years since the beginning of this problem. 9 good years. So I said what I said because it was the right thing to say, and I leave it at that. I think Gambian people have also spoken. If you go to the internet, you see people have spoken their mind. I wonder there were any people who supported the statement that was issued. But we also understand sometimes people try to appease their political masters, and they say things that they themselves don't believe in. And I am emphasizing that they themselves don't believe in it. If you deny what I say, go and look at TRRC testimonies. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but the army said something different at the TRRC, completely different. So I remind Gambians to go back and look at it.
In 2 minutes.
So just to close, that this is a very serious moment. Tensions are rising in this country. It is the responsibility of the president. He is everybody's president in this country. Those of us sitting here wanting to replace him, wanting to see him removed in 2026. And those in the jails, all of us, he is our president. We expect that he would learn from the lessons of the past. In fact, I recall that during TRRC, I had said something. It went like this. If we do not learn from the ills of the past, we are sowing the seeds of destruction for the future. That is something I said in TRRC maybe in 2020. The only reason why I remember is that somebody has made it into MM. So, and I saw it circulated around. That's how I remember. And I think it is a stark warning for everyone that we must remember the things that happened in the past. And we try not to repeat the ills of the past. If we do repeat the ills of the past, we will be sowing the seeds of destruction for the future. We have seen what happened April 10th, 11, 2000. We have seen what happened 2010 pertaining to Femi Peters. We have seen what happened 2014 pertaining to Sole Sandeng. We have seen what happened also to Usainu Dabo. And we have seen the result in 2016. Here, the same wheel of government, the same modus operandi, the same strategy of stifling and muscling the opposition or civil rights activists is happening again. In 2026, I promise you, we will have the same result as what happened in 2016. But on this occasion, we don't want to see Gambians running away. Never again in this country should we allow anyone to put this country in a situation where Gambians would have to seek refuge outside this country. We want peace. We want respect for the law. We want respect for the rights of all and sundry. Mr. President, give it to the Gambians. Mr. President, give it to those youths who are languishing in detentions centers or places around the country. No, I don't think there is, well, at least I do not know where all these people are now detained. We understand that they've been separated and detained in several places. It's still the same old book, old playbook. Mr. President, stop it. You gave a commitment to Gambians that you would end all these Jame-era shenanigans that resulted in the violation of rights of Gambians. We want to hold you to your promise. If you fail, we ask all Gambians to hold you accountable for this nonsense that is happening. We ask all Gambians to hold you accountable for this terrible situation that is unfolding. But more importantly, we want you to take action that would ensure the peace in this country. I thank you all.